Hello everyone, this is Praveen from Work Life with Praveen again. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be speaking about the importance of learning in general terms. I'm going to be speaking about why one must continue to learn throughout the life. And not only continuous learning, but also how you can be intentional and how you can be conscious about one, learning itself, and two, why it is important for you to learn what actually adds value to your life and your career or your relationships or your family matters as well. So, yeah, that is what I'll be speaking about in today's episode. So, if you're someone who struggles to learn, if you're someone who struggles to continuously um, focus on a particular topic, and if you're someone who thinks that probably you are already aware of the things that is required in your area of life or your work, and you know it all already, then probably this is the video that you must watch, and hopefully you should be able to understand why I'm saying so. So without further ado, let's get right into it. In today's episode, I'll be starting with a short story that I made up. Yes, it is a fictional story. Yes, it is a story that I made up for the sake of this video. In fact, for the sake of the blog I was writing about day before yesterday or yesterday, which is posted on my blog, which is, if you haven't subscribed to it yet, it is praveens.blog, where I write about my experiences, my thoughts, and what I think about a particular topic. So, yeah, it's praveens.blog. You can read through whatever comes to my mind and whatever I post there. So yeah, without further ado, let me start the story that which I told you I just made up. But it is true and it is timeless. So just hang in there. And you'll know why I had to come up with that story. So, the story is around a caveman in a particular forest. You can say Amazon forest or any forest in this world. So the story is about a caveman who was leading a happy and a content life. He has been functioning the way all his ancestors used to function and used to hunt, used to store food, and he was content. I mean, he had no complaints with life until one day. Um, an explorer came by, and that explorer happened to have a mobile phone with him, and the explorer's phone rang suddenly, and to the caveman's surprised, and to the caveman's surprise, he saw a device which could make sound, which could allow you to watch whatever a person wants to watch or listen to, or probably, I mean, just speak to other individual remotely. So he was surprised, he was astonished, he was scared to start with. But then, when the explorer noticed all these emotions on Caveman's face, the explorers started showing some of the videos which he thought might help the caveman. Now, the caveman started watching the videos on how he could cut trees better. He watched videos on how he could hunt better. He watched videos on how he could store food better in for the rainy days, right? Or the winter. Now, all of us are aware in forest how difficult it is during a rainy season or a rainy day or during winters. So, all in all, this caveman watched all these videos, and it was almost time. I mean, it was almost evening, and the explorer had to leave. So they bid their goodbyes. They exchanged their last words before parting, and that's it. Right now, passed. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. Months became years, and years became almost 30. Now, after about 30 years, the same explorer happened to pass by the same forest. And while he was just looking at some of the trees that he had seen almost 30, 40 years ago, um, he heard a loud yell. He heard a yell from a distant background, and the explorer started to look around. And when he started to look around, his eye suddenly got fixed on an individual from whom the sound was coming. Basically, the individual who was yelling this explorer's name. Now, the caveman approached the explorer, and suddenly he started touching the explorer's feet. He started hugging him, and he started thanking the explorer endlessly. Perplexed, surprised, the explorer asked the caveman who he was and how does he or why is he thanking the explorer. For which the caveman smiled and he said, obviously, you don't remember me, but I'm the safe caveman you met 30 years ago. And it is because of the videos that you showed me almost 30 years ago is why I was able to survive until now. I was able to cut the trees better. I was able to hunt better. I was able to store the food in a better way so that I could not go or I did not go hungry on the rainy days or during the winters. And because of all these factors, I let I led a healthy life. I hardly fell sick, which means I lived long enough to see you even after 30 years. Now, generally speaking, all my ancestors would have died by this age. But thanks to the videos that you showed me, I was able to keep myself healthy and I was able to take care of the environment as well. I was able to outlive all the previous generations. And look at me. I think I still got 20, 30, 40 odd years more to go. And probably I'll die only because of the old age and not because of the harsh weather or harsh environment that I live in. Now, this story is an imaginary one. This story is something that I came up with. This story is little similar to what we all have learned and what we all have heard in our textbooks or probably in any other form from our teachers about how we as human beings um, evolved during time. It's just that we did not have the technology back then. But even now, there are a lot of tribes that are living in deep inside some of the forests, and they are still away from all the technology part. So I kind of mixed both of it. But the moral that I wanted to get to was it's because of this caveman's interest. It's because of this caveman's eagerness to learn more, to get better in life. It's because of his open mindedness. He was able to eat better, live better, and outlive all his generations that came before him. And that is something which is true even for us. Let's go back 200 years ago, right? Let's speak about the richest human being on this planet, which is probably John D. Rockefeller. If I go back in 1920s or 1930s or 1940s, the richest person on this planet was Rockefeller, John D. Rockefeller. He owned a lot of oil companies, and at one point he was worth more than $1 trillion, far, far, far greater amount than what today's most richest person is valued at. But think about it. Now, this person, though he was the richest person on this planet in 1930s or 1940s, he could still not afford to speak to an individual while walking in the street. He could still not do a video call with his loved ones whenever he missed them. Whereas now in 2025, which is almost 100 years from back then, a person, regardless of him being poor, middle class, or rich, has the ability to do a video call, has the ability to speak to his loved one, no matter in what part of the world he is in, and he can take care of his emotions right away. Now, that is a difference between what a technology can do. However, I'm not. I'm not sticking with the technology here. The deeper understanding, the deeper um, point of view to this story is, um, had we not learned to basically come up with better chips, better technology, had we not learned to create or make better electronic equipments, we wouldn't have been in the position that we are in today. The same thing goes with our televisions. The same thing goes with our vehicles. The same thing goes with the planes that we travel in. The same thing goes for the refrigerators that we have in our houses. The same thing goes with the washing machines. Pick anything in your household, and trust me, these are some of the benefits, these are some of the advantages we, as just the individuals, forget about being poor, being a middle class, or a rich. In 2025, no matter who you are, you'll be able to leverage all these technology creation, which was not possible 100 years ago. No matter, even if you were the richest person, you cannot fathom the thought of traveling the world in a very limited time. So, like I said, the most basic part that I'm getting to is how learning has helped humankind to not only survive but thrive as the years have gone by. Now, we always have three types of people. Whenever I speak to individuals, and whenever I ask them if they read books or they watch what documentaries or they observe people or they reflect on their thoughts just to think and learn from whatever they have experienced or whatever they have read or whatever they have watched or whatever they have listened to, I always get to hear three types of responses. Number one, I don't have time to read. I don't have time to watch a documentary. I don't have time to listen to a podcast. I don't have time to reflect. I don't have time to observe people. In summary, type 1 people are the individuals who think they don't have time. But these are the same individuals who don't mind spending hours and hours scrolling through the endless videos that they see on Instagram or YouTube or any other video streaming platform. These are the same individuals who don't mind spending hours every day to just complain about other individuals. In general terms, gossip about other individuals. These are the same individuals who don't mind to spend time um, um, in any productive work, and they just kind of live on a daily basis and they do whatever comes by on their desk or on their plate, and just to kind of get over with it, and then they go to bed again with their cell phones watching some random videos on whatever streaming platform they love, and they end their days, and that becomes months and years and their life, right? You get the idea. Now, type 2 individuals are the individuals who say that, you know what, I would love to learn. It's just that I think I am the expert in whatever field I am in. Now, these are the individuals who think know everything already. These are the individuals who are hard to crack, because these are the individuals who think just because they are in the position of whatever position they are in, uh, life cannot teach them anything else, which is again a paradox in their own mind, because they got to a position that they are in because of the years of learning that they had to go through to get to this position. And suddenly they think that they know everything. And suddenly they start to think that this is how they will be throughout their life. And they don't mind doing all the other things. And they don't mind to just be the way they are until the end of their lives. Then we have the third and the last type of people who think reading or learning or observing or reflecting, any of these things will not be of any service for them, because they want to be able to they think that they will learn only when they can experience something. If I ask a person to read a book, let's say if I ask a person to read a good biography, let me take an example. Let me take an example of the latest biography that I just read, right, which is Ratan Tata's biography. And when I asked someone to read it, because there were a lot of good insights that I could learn myself, they say that, hey, you know what? I appreciate that you recommending this book, but to be honest, I think life is something that you have to experience yourself. So I don't think I want to read or watch a documentary or even look at other people and learn from them. Now, all these three excuses, I would say excuses because I'm going to explain you why, but all these three excuses do the same thing. These are the same excuses that will make this person, make an individual not progress in his life or her life, in his profession or her profession, or in his relationship or in her relationship, right? And I'm going to explain you why. Um, now, let me to kind of go deeper into what I was saying. Um, Let me take an example of a recent podcast that I watched. The recent podcast I watched was of Naval Ravikant on Chris Williamson's podcast, where he came and for about 3 hours he shared great insights about what he has learned over the years, what he think the life is, and how what he think the future is going to look like for the humankind, and all those kind of things. Now, Naval Ravikant is one of the great individuals who come up with great insights on how the future is going to look like, and not only the future, he's an individual who has reflected on his own life, and he has come up with great insights, which is not only helpful for him but also for a lot of other individuals. If you have not followed him on Twitter, which is now X, yet, uh, go to his Twitter handle or X handle and click on follow button, because he shares a lot of great insights. It will be short. I mean, it will hardly take even 15 seconds to read his tweet. But if you read them, if you reflect on them, if you try to understand the deeper meaning of them, there are a lot of learnings in those quick 2 or 3 line tweets. Ryan Holiday, in one of his best selling books, Obstacle is the Way, and the other book that I love is around how having an ego can actually hurt you than others. Is Ego is the Enemy, right? Now, in both of his books, he has shared life lessons adapted by Stoic philosophers, right from Marcus Aurelius to Epictetus. So basically, if you read his book, right, you will be able to have a crash course in a way to life. And what you can do and how it will help you is basically by letting you know the things one must do to avoid ego. First of all, why ego is bad, the disadvantages of it. Two, how having an ego will prevent you from becoming a better individual. and how it is harming you, which is yourself, than anyone else. So by reading books, I mean, you will be doing a crash course to in life, and you can basically avoid the mistakes that probably the other individuals have made, and basically get better at it. I mean, you will still make mistakes, but at least you will make mistakes which has not been done before. You will still make mistakes, but you will be better prepared on how to handle those mistakes, right? You will not be spending hours or days or years doing the mistakes that someone has already done and learned from it. So basically, for the individuals who think that they rather experience how life is, probably I would have to just tell them that it's a good thought, and in some way, some of the experiences are required. Let's say if I'm a parent, I can. I mean, first thing I would want to do is read whatever there is, watch whatever there is available on the internet, speak to parents in my environment or in my circle, try to understand what's the best way to be a parent. And what to avoid. But by the end of the day, when it comes to parenting, there are few little things that only I can learn by doing that thing. However, I will have to make sure that I have learn from others so that I'm not spending a lot of time in doing the same mistakes that probably should not have been done, and has been done already by a lot of other parents. So that's the objective of learnings from someone else, right? Similarly, let's say if I want to drive a car, the first thing I want to do is I want to read whatever there is to read about driving the car, the theoretical part. I will have to read the car manual to make sure that I'm aware of the things that is involved, and the car features, so that I'm not pressing on something that I was not supposed to. But at the same time, I do understand that I will have to practice learning, or I have to practice driving a car to actually drive a car. But that comes at the later part. I will still have to do it. It's just that let me get my basics right. Let me make sure that I have covered pretty much everything as far as the car functions are concerned, so that when I'm doing the practicals, so that when I'm actually driving the car to learn it, it will become more easier. And because my foundations will be strong, I'll be able to learn quicker and smarter and better. So that's the objective, right? Now, similarly, the world leaders do the same thing. And if you listen to individuals who say that, hey, you know what, I learn from observing people, that's a fantastic thing, because you're doing a crash course in understanding human behavior. Yes, there are a lot of books. Yes, there are a lot of videos online which will teach you the theoretical part, but at the same time you can mix it with actually observing the people. And this is something which is very common in the world of marketing and sales, right? The trainers, the coach, the sales managers um, spend a lot of time in observing the environment, in observing the market, in observing the people that they have to work with, so that they can position the right product, the right value at the right time, right? So, all in all, what I would tell you is it's a mix of everything that a person has to imbibe, a person has to learn, to make sure that he's making the best use of the options that he has at his disposal. Now, the last part I would tell you in this video is there are a lot of people, like I was saying, I mean, the third kind of people who think they know everything there is to know about whatever job they are in or whatever role they are playing. Now, for this, Adam Grant, one of my favorite authors, he's someone who consistently writes on LinkedIn. He has written a lot of great books, which are best-selling books as well. He's an organizational psychologist as well, where he studies organizations and the people there. Now, in his book, Think Again, which was again one of his best-selling books, he writes, I'm going to read it for you so that I'm not adding my own words, because I want you guys to really, really, really um, um, understand what he is trying to say in that book. And I quote, he says, and I quote, "We all have blind spots in our knowledge and opinions. The bad news is that they can leave us blind to our blindness, which gives us false confidence in our judgment and prevents us from rethinking. The good news is that with the right kind of confidence, we can learn to see ourselves more clearly and update our views. In a driver's training, we were taught to identify our visual blind spots and eliminate them with the help of mirrors and sensors. In life, since our minds don't come equipped with these tools, we need to learn to recognize our cognitive blind spots and revise our thinking accordingly. Right now, something that probably, if you haven't followed the whole sentence that I just read, I'm gonna just repeat the most important part, which is the blind spots can leave us blind to our blindness, which gives us false confidence in our judgments and prevents us from rethinking. Right now, this is fantastic. I mean, this sentence, when I was reading the book, when I read this sentence, I was awestruck because he has put it in a very plain and simple, but very effective manner. What it means, or why it is important to basically rethink our own thinking, rethink our beliefs again. Because a lot of times, I mean, it's our egos that comes in our way and prevents us from learning new things, or even rethink some of the things that we think we already know. Let's say if I'm an executive in an organization, it's the ego that comes in my way, which prevents me from learning something new from my assistant, who probably is 20 or 30 years younger to me. It is the ego that can probably prevent me from learning from my assistant. So yeah, I mean, if at all you are someone who thinks you already know everything, if you are someone who thinks you will probably learn only from the experiences, or if you're someone who thinks you don't have time to learn anything new, just give it a shot. Just give yourself 1 week's time, pick up a book or watch a documentary from a famous personality, or listen to a podcast on your drive to work. And I can promise you, your mindset or your thinking will definitely change, and will change for better. Now, before I let you go, I will just go back to our caveman, who was waiting for us patiently, I think for 25, 30 odd minutes. But um, let's get back to him. Now, if the caveman had remained scared, and he could have chosen not to learn new skills, but to his credit, he did. He could have chosen to do the things the way he and his ancestors always did, but he changed, and changed for better. He could have chosen to stick to his outdated learnings, but fortunately, he challenged them and got new perspective on the things he had been doing for a very long time. He could have chosen to die young like all his ancestors, but he chose to live healthier and longer life than all of them. And for that, he is thankful to the learnings that he got from the explorer's cell phone, which is through the videos. And for that, he is primarily thankful to himself to be open to learn new things in his life. Now, with that, I'm going to conclude today's video. If you have liked this video or any of my videos, please click on subscribe button. That's the way that you can appreciate the work I'm trying to do here on my channel. And if you think there is something that I can get better at, feel free to put it on the comments section. I would look at all my comments, and I promise you, if the recommendation or if the suggestion or if the feedback makes sense to me, and I will read it with an open mind. But I would assure you that if it makes sense to me and if that is something that I can change effective immediately, I will. Until then, be great and see you next time.